Hello YouTubers! I love watching Australian Football League, AFL, and analysing the stats relating to the game and giving my opinion based on the stats. For this show, I'll be analysing the Adelaide Crows. I'd like to thank VLO Ratings, the website, for the stats. If it wasn't for this website, I wouldn't be able to obtain the stats, so thank you, much appreciated. This is my first episode of analysing each AFL teams, and for this episode, I'll be discussing on the Adelaide Crows. I will be summarising their stats based on the 2023 season, looking at their list profile, scoring for and against, and where the improvement can be made in season 2024, as well as discussing the potential round 1 side and my prediction for the 2024 season. In 2023, the Crows finished in 10th spot with a win-loss record of 11 wins and 12 losses. They had a good home record of 8 wins and 4 losses. For away, it was not so good at 3 wins and 8 losses. I don't want to remind Crow supporters, we all know the one game against Sydney where this may have been a lot different if Ben Key's goal was given as a goal. Going back to their losses, they lost to Collingwood and Melbourne 3 times with a margin of less than a goal, and 2 of those games were away at the MCG, so that can be due to the inexperience, which I will talk about the age of the list profile. The Crows are ranked 16th as the oldest list or the third youngest team with an average age of 24.8 years old. In terms of games played, they are ranked number 16th or third in the list experience of games played. So the rebuild is building nicely. And to put this into perspective, in 2019, the average age of the list was 26.4 years old, and this was ranked as the second oldest list and the fifth most experienced games played. So there has been a significant list change for the past 5 years in experienced players being moved on, like your Sam Jacobs, Eddie Betts, Josh Jenkins, Tom Lynch, etc., and adding young players like your Luke Pedler, Josh Rochelle, Riley Philthorpe, and Dan Curtin, etc. I have no subscribers. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel, or if you are new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss any of my videos. Returning back, scoring and defense, for and against. The Crows were ranked number 1 for attack, an average score of 95.3 points per game, and conceded 81.6 points per game. That was ranked as the ninth best defense. So offensively, they were ranked as the best team, but in the middle range for defensive. Over a number of seasons, the scoring for and against has improved. The club had the worst offense and defense in 2020, and then in 2023, last season, it was ranked number 1 in offense and ninth in defense. So there have been improvements to both areas. The forward line had so many goal kickers, with Taylor Walker topping the club with 76 goals to come second in the Coleman medal and securing his maiden All-Australian. The boom recruit of Isaac Rankin placed second with 36 goals, and the improving Darcy Fogarty in third with 34 goals. Walker and Rankin were rated elite for their number of goals. Defensively, the Crows were ranked in the middle pack for this area, and they suffered 2 ACL knee injuries to Tom Doedee and Nick Murray respectively, and Jordan Butts missing 6 games to injuries. So the club can be excused with injuries to more of their senior defenders. Mark Keane and James Borlase playing in the key defensive positions for the last few games of the season. The Crows found a beauty under SNFL fine son Max Michelini, who showed traits and composure of former dual premiership player in Ben Hart. I'm not putting in a lot of pressure on the kid. He looks so composed and can play on tolls and smalls. Josh Worrell thrived as the third toll after Dode's knee injury and played 12 games. Mitch Hinge had a good season and played 22 out of possible 23 games. Adelaide has a young core of defenders under the age of 25, Butts at 24, Worrell at 22, Murray and Keane at 23, and Hinge at 25 years old. There is a good nucleus of young players that can grow together, and one day they may make a play for Harrison Petty from Melbourne. Ruck or centre. Looking at the ruck stats, the Crows were ranked number 1 for the amount of hitouts won per game at 46.8, but ranked below average for hitouts won to advantage, with a percentage of 28.3 per game, to rank in 12th spot. In today's modern football, hit-outs to advantage percentage 1 is critical in the 6-6-6 rule, where the centre bounce is the only opportunity for a one-on-one contest in the forward line.
The Crows played more of a contested ball and less outside ball, according to their stats. They were ranked number 2 for contested ball and number 4 for ground ball gets, and ranked in the bottom half for uncontested possession. This shows that the Crows' DNA is to play the ball in tight contests with lots of stoppages and less outside run. Playing a finals round of football with lots of contested ball and repeated stoppages and less outside uncontested ball. This is also due to their midfield setup, where they don't have a Petrarca or a Dangerfield type of player that can exploit from stoppages with a burst of speed. And I understand that 2 years ago, the Crows offered many first-round draft picks to North Melbourne for pick 1 to obtain the rights for Jason Horne-Francis, at which North Melbourne declined. Now they might have regretted that decision, as Horne-Francis moved to the Crows' arch-rival the following year. The Crows had 3 midfielders in the top 30 for possessions. Laird with 29.4, Dawson with 26.2 possessions per game, and Crouch with 26.1 possessions per game. However, Matt Crouch had only played 7 games for the season. Going on, speaking about the Crows' midfield DNA, they had 4 players in the top 80 for contested possession, with Laird ranked number 9 in the league for this. Whereas, in the uncontested possession, the Crows had 3 players in the top 80, with Dawson ranked number 20 in the league for this stat. They have more of a focus in contested possession.
I will highlight the major ins and outs for the Crows 2024 season. Ins are Chris Burgess, who is a forward that kicked 50-odd goals in Gold Coast Premiership VFL side, the highly regarded pick 8 key defender from Western Australia in Daniel Curtin, who the Crows had to trade up to receive this pick, and the tall 191cm midfield in Charlie Edwards, who has a burst of speed in the midfield, who will spend most of his time in the Crows' SANFL team to develop. He was taken with pick 21 in the 2023 draft.
The 2 major outs are Tom Daley to Brisbane, who left as a free agent, and Shane McAdam, who was traded to Melbourne.
This is my predicted round 1 lineup that the team will select for season 2024. In defence, we've got the usual 4 of Miller, Smith, McElhaney and Butts. However, I had Worrell as a third innocent defender to replace Dode, who left to Brisbane as a free agent. And also I had Keane replacing Murray, who is out with an ACL injury. In ruck, I had O'Brien as a starting ruckman, with the midfield trio of Dawson, Laird and Crouch. And on the wings, I had Chase Jones and Mitch Hinge, and I couldn't find room for Scholl to play on the wing. In the forward line, I had Rankin, Walker, Hillthorpe, Michelli and Fogarty, and I chose Gallant to replace Shane McAdam, as he was in the top 5 for the SANFL goal kicker in the 2023 season. And on the bench, I had Murphy, Pedler, Solidigo and Keys, and I had Chris Burgess as a sub. It was a tough one to pick, and I picked Burgess over McHenry, as the Crows bench possess similar players that can form the same role, whereas Burgess is a key position player that can play either forward or back. This is one stat I was very intrigued in reviewing for the Crows: centre bounce attendance. Ranked number 3 in the league was Ryan O'Brien, and he was the only sole ruckman that the Crows had in the CBA for this season. Strawn did not play any games this year in the AFL and languished in the SANFL in the 2023 season. And then you can see the next players were Laird, Dawson, Crouch, etc. And what I noticed is from Laird, Dawson to Crouch, Berry, Sloan and Schomburg and even Keys, they're all inside midfielders with no pace, so all one pace and no explosive speed. And the one that was very intrigued was looking at Isaac Rankin, who only had 0.6 centre bounces attendance per game. So he was only in basically 1 centre bounce for every 2 games, and the Crows' centre bounce attendance setup were all similar 1 pace midfield type with no run and carry. Now I will compare the Crows CBA to Collingwood. In ruck, O'Brien fills in the same role as Darcy Cameron. Dawson, with his elite kicking, possessed that composure like Pendlebury. Laird is the inside midfielder equivalent to Tom Mitchell. Then, this is where it gets murky. The Crows don't have an explosive midfield that can burst out of stoppages like the Gowie. Imagine the Crows swapping Crouch for either Rankin or Rochelle in the guts, two players that have sideways movements. I highlighted 3 players I would like to see more CBA in Rochelle, Solidigo and Rankin. If the trio can get more than 10 CBAs to the Crows midfield, that will add a lot of variety and rotation. We would all love to see Rankin more on the ball, such as the game against Melbourne at the MCG last year in round 19, where he had 20 possessions playing more up the ground and had 3 clearances and 4 inside 50s and was tearing the game apart until he teared his hamstring. Next, my in-depth player is Isaac Rankin. The player I believe that could be a point of differences is Isaac Rankin. I believe he has the potential to be similar to Shea Bolton, who spends 50-50 in the forward and midfield. From season 2023, Rankin scored more goals. However, the stats showed Bolton spending more time in the midfield. Based on the CBA stats, 2024 will be Rankin's 5th season, and in year 5, Bolton had 12.8 CBAs per game. If the Crows can allow Rankin 8 to 10 CBAs per game this season, this can help the Crows' midfield setup and add someone with a point of differences on the outside. Another player I wanted to analyse is Riley Philthorpe. 2024 will be his 4th season, and the Crows used their pick 2 to select him, and they have high expectations. Key forwards do take a long time to develop, and I gathered stats from 2 existing players, in Ben King from Gold Coast and Harry McKay from Carlton. Last year, Philthorpe averaged 0.9 goals a game, including 5 against Port in the showdown, so there is potential in there. You can see the differences where in year 4, McKay averaged 1.6 goals per game and King averaged 2 goals per game. If Philthorpe can average 1.5 goals per game in season 2024, that is showing progress, with a total of around 35 goals. King scored 40 goals in year 4. My prediction is the Crows will be in the 6 to 12 range, and I believe that the midfield setup is vital. If they stick to the same trio of the one-pace inside midfield, they will fight for 8th spot. But if they can add more rotations to the midfield and give Solidigo more time in the guts and add more CBAs to Rochelle and Rankin with that sideways movement, that will make the midfield more unpredictable. I will be interested to see how the Crows' outside game will pan out in season 2024. My pass mark is the Crows to make the top 8, further improvements to the defence, and finding more players to rotate through the midfield, and reduce the load on Tex Walker in the forward line. Something of interest, and I think it's too early for the Crows to talk about, are teams that are ranked in the top 6 for offense and defense usually win the flag. The Crows were ranked number 1 in offense and number 9 in defense, so if they can fix their defense, I think they can make the top 8 pretty easily. The Crows just need to get more games to their players and grow together and increase their experience, as they are the 3rd youngest team compared to the Premiers, Collingwood, who are the 2nd oldest team. Thank you for watching my video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, where you will have access when a new video is released. My next video will be based on the Brisbane Lions.